Hi, everyone. So today we're reading chapter 7 of The Great Cosmic Mother, The Organic Religion of Early Women. The first god, Mother Earth, was a human concept, or the sign of a human response to an experienced fact. The first arts and religions, the first crafts and social patterns were designed in recognition and celebration of her. But what were real human females feeling and thinking? We can only see the attributes of the great goddess as the projections of women's experiences themselves. As we read the powerful magic signs of the Great Mother's celebration, we can read these first women's powerful discoveries and celebrations of themselves. The religious beliefs, the mysteries and rites developed by ancient women grew organically out of women's supreme roles as cultural producers, mothers, and prime communicators with the spirit world. The mysteries of creation, transformation, and reoccurrence, the primal mysteries of all religions, emerged from women's direct physical and psychic experiences of these mysteries, in bleeding and growing a child, in nursing and working with fire, in making a pot, and in planting a seed. In pottery craft and myth alone, we can see the development of a religion. The pot was seen to have the body shape in the internal womb of the mother. In Neolithic Europe, clay was said to have a woman's soul, and no man was allowed to see the female potter at work. Clay, sacred to women and the goddess, was often marked with the maze-like windings of the magical underworld, a place of transformation. Aruru Ishtar, the cosmic creatrix of Babylon, was imaged as a potter, a divine potter, shaper of life. The making of cult vessels was like the shaping of life, and the Babylonian words for rebirth were, "We are as fresh-baked pots." From this, we can see the absurdity and the political co-optation of the notion of a male godfather making human beings from clay or dust. The biblical image is stolen without shame from either Sumerian and Babylonian goddess creation stories. Such a patriarchal version of creation is very recent. The facts of women's experience of life are primordial. It is woman who goes through the sacred transformations in her own body and psyche, the mystery changes of menstruation, pregnancy, birth, and the production of milk. It is woman who first shaped a seed into food, into pottery, fire into a tool, the struggle for survival into the human culture. As procreator and producer creator, women's mysteries are the blood transformation mysteries, the experience of the female bodily transformations magically fused with her conscious and willed transformations of matter. Matter, the mud, the mother. She transforms herself. Religious rites were combined with industry. Women's religions were organic, of blood and spirit, of daily life tasks and cosmic meaning. Among the women weavers of the matrifocal Navajo, for example, this is still so. The women experience themselves as being directly inspired by the great Spider Woman, the original weaver of the universe. They use no set patterns and feel no separation between art, the sacred, and craft, the secular, profane. The woven blankets are valued as organic expressions of the special powers of the makers. Each blanket, with its inspired design, has a spiritual significance and is thought of as giving power and protection to the person who wears it. In ancient textiles, a highly charged symbol language was used to communicate history and myth. Spinning and weaving were imbued with magic powers, and inscribed spindle whorls are found in innumerable Neolithic sacrificial pits sacred to the goddess. The Greek Artemis was seen to spin the thread of life, and the three Norns of Scandinavian mythology sat spinning the web of life, destiny, fate at the roots of Yggdrasil, the cosmic world tree. The subtle energy form of the human body may be seen as a subtle energy form of cosmos, relatively miniaturized, but no less vast and totally alive. The cosmos that we know is a construction, perception, projection of the energy currents in our own bodily systems. Cosmic mind and human mind are not essentially different or separate, nor are cosmic body and human body. Everything is interconnected in a vast webwork of cosmic being, a universal weaving in which each individual thing or life form being a universal weaving, in which each individual thing or life form is a kind of energy knot or interlock in the overall vibrating pattern. The Latin root for the word religion is religare, which means a bond, a binding, to back something. Yoga, interestingly enough, means the same thing, a yoke or yoking of the individual to the all. William Irwin Thompson writes, the sacred is the emotional force which connects the part of the whole. The profane or the secular is that which has been broken off from or has fallen from its emotional bond to the universe. Religare means to bind up, and the traditional task of religion has been to bind up the pieces that have broken away from the ecstatic oneness. True religion is the original umbilical cord that binds our individual selves back to our larger universal source. That source in women's religion is the Great Mother, who is the great cosmic weaver, the divine potter, the carrier of the heavenly water jar. We participate in her substance, her nature, her processes, her play, and her work. In her are both the lower regions of the tomb, the world, and the dead, and the upper regions of the celestial sky, whose stars are her eyes. Groundwater belongs to the belly womb region of the lower female. The heavenly rainwater belongs to the great breast region of the upper female. As divine water jar, she is mistress of the upper waters, the rain, and of the lower waters, the brooks, springs, and rivers flowing from the womb of the earth. The Egyptian sky and water jar goddess Nut nourishes the earth with her milky rain. In fact, our word galaxy comes from the Greek galaxas, meaning milky circle, and the Milky Way describes the thick white stream of stars pouring from her breast. As uterus, she is a vessel that breaks the childbirth, pouring forth like a wellspring. These are all symbols of creative life and of ecstatic participation in it. The self-representation of the goddess is a form of divine epiphany, and the parts of her body are not understood literally as physical organs, but as numinous centers of whole spheres of life. Her navel is the center of the earth, of us, from which the universe is nourished by our conscious participation, and we are nourished by it. Such symbolism expresses the non-dualistic poetic mind of ancient women who could experience their bodies as whole worlds or universes, and the universe as their own body. Ecstasy is the dance of the individual with the all. Ecstasis means standing outside oneself. And so, canceling out the conditioned mind, all life was experienced as partaking of the material spiritual wholeness that was her. In this magic unity, ecstasy and responsiveness were one. And so the earliest communicators with her of her essence were ecstatic women, shamans and seers. In their trance states, they were responsible for keeping the energy channels open and flowing between each individual, the group, and the cosmic source. They healed, balanced, and translated the life forces from one energy manifestation to the other. It is significant that to this day, within almost all patriarchal world religions, women's robes are still the official priestly garb, and male priests function as a kind of male mother to the believers. Among the Siberian tribes, male shamans have always worn ornamental and symbolic breasts on their robes. When civilized men became the moralistic priests of the new father god, women and pagans of both sexes remain the shamans, the witches of the ecstatic mother. The reality implicit in the universe, in each one of us, in the self at the heart of being, is her way. It is very ancient and has no time. My me is God, nor do I know myself save in her. Ecstasy is the only way through which the soul can lose itself in union with her. Ecstasy is the only way through which the soul can lose itself in the union with her. Some male mystics have also understood this. Martin Buber describes the prenatal life as the origin state of ecstatic consciousness within a sexual spiritual universe, a flowing towards each other, a bodily reciprocity. The mother's womb is condensed experience of the cosmos. At birth, we forget this undivided world, but we never forget completely, as the memory lingers as a secret image of a wish, a desire for total reintegration, and this is the real meaning of human longing for return to the womb. It is not at all a sign of pathology or inadequacy, not a backward craving, but an urge to expand and reestablish the cosmic connection. Contemporary researchers have found the neurological connections between religious or trance experience and female sexuality. In women's brains, there are unique neural links between the forebrain and the cerebellum, which allows for sensations of physical pleasure to be directly integrated into the neocortex or the high brain center. This explains why some women experience orgasms so intense that they enter religious trance or altered states of consciousness. And this ecstatic female orgasmic experience, in which the physical and the spiritual are fused and realized as one, is at the core of all mystical experience. This is why in the original religion of the Great Mother, body and mind and spirit are always integrated, because human male brains do not seem to have these neurological connections. Just as human male sexuality has not evolved radically beyond primate sexuality, while human females, through the shift from estrus to menstrual cycles, have evolved a non-reproductive sexual capacity that functions primarily for affectional bonding. The researchers conclude that it is women who must take the lead in the further human evolution toward the integration of consciousness and the unconscious mind to a more profound understanding of the spiritual nature of the species. What these modern researchers are now discovering is something ancient women always knew: the warring dualisms of matter versus spirit, the hostile antagonisms of the sexual body versus the religious truth, are recent patriarchal inventions, destructively forced on the world and their soul. They had no place at the beginning of things, for they are neither natural nor true. For women, at any rate, they can never be true. That is why the first religion, originated by women, was a sexual spiritual religion, the celebration of cosmic ecstasy. Among these early women, though some more receptive psyches might have acted as shamanic trance channels, we can imagine no real leaders, no followers, no hierarchies, just as there are no hierarchic distinction made between ordinary daily tasks and the most exalted rituals. Because we can see these women sharing experience as a kind of ecstatic rite in itself. They knew life as an ecstatic rite and as their right to ecstasy.